Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hit that red subscribe button and be a part of my family. Today is a video that I thought I would never find myself making. A lot of you guys have recently seen my TikTok videos about cutting off my narcissistic mother. It has been extremely hard and a lot of you guys have been asking for updates on her, but I sadly just don't have any updates. So I'm gonna try and tell the story. I know a lot of people are going to come for me and tell me that she's my mom, she's the only mom you have, some people don't have a mom, blah, blah, blah. But if you knew the whole story, you'd understand why I did what I did. So let's go back to when I was growing up. Growing up, I didn't grow up the best. I didn't have the best life that I should have had. I had a father who was in and out of jail, doing drugs. I had a mom who also drank her face off and I'm assuming did drugs and just didn't really take care of me. After her and my dad split up, she decided that it would be a good idea to date a bunch of men who were way under the age and she shouldn't have been dating. She took advantage of every single one of them, and most of them had disabilities, and that's the saddest part. A lot of them were on social assistance or had a disability, and she really did take advantage of them. And I know my grandma didn't raise her that way, or my grandparents, so that's what struck me the wrong way. Often she would tell me it would be my fault that my dad left, and she would tell me that I deserved for him to leave and that he wanted nothing to do with me. In reality, I'm pretty sure the reason he didn't want anything to do with me was because of her. She kept me away from him for many, many years and wouldn't allow me to see him, and I sometimes had to sneak and go and see him. She had always been picking her boyfriends before me. Her last boyfriend before the one she had now, he was only a couple years older than me, which I always thought was very disgusting, but you know, age doesn't matter, and as long as she was happy, that's all that matters. Time and time again, I would be going through shitty situations and she just wasn't there for me. She didn't really care too much. When I was around 11 years old, I went through a pretty traumatic experience in my life, and I was raped and abused and drugged, and she allowed me to live with him and thought everything was fine, even though he was much older than me. I don't really blame her because I kind of just don't blame her at all for my mistakes because that's not her. I made those choices, but she could have helped me in those decisions. Instead, she just let me go because it meant I wasn't in her household, and she wouldn't have to worry about me. She would often lie to me and tell me she was in college for something, and it would just mean her drinking her face off and being with other dudes and leaving me home alone by myself. Again, this thing doesn't really matter, but I didn't end up finishing high school because I just didn't want to. I didn't graduate on time, let me correct that. And she didn't push me to. She didn't really care what I did, to be honest. She was just more focused on her boyfriend. One time I worked really hard to want to save up my money so that I could get my license when I was 16. I even went as far as dating corn to tasseling, which is super hard. So that entire $300 check went to her because she told me that we needed groceries, which we didn't. That weekend she told me she didn't have money and then decided to go out drinking. She would tell me that no one loved me and that she would call me names all the time, which deep down hurt very, very badly, but I just kind of rolled with it and thought this was what mothers did. I would see other people, moms, with them, and I just wondered what I did wrong and if it was all my fault. When I lost my daughter, the one thing that hit me the most was that my daughter passed away, and I asked my mom and I begged my mom to be there with me, and she chose to go home to be with her boyfriend instead of coming back and staying with me because she didn't want to wake up early. That was the hardest moment of my entire life, and she makes excuses for that as well, but I moved past it and I still allowed her to do these things to me until I met my husband. She didn't like that I was moving on with my life and that I was finally happy, the happiness that I deserved. She started to make some really bad accusations, and she even went as far as to try and ruin my marriage. I have been told my entire life by a lot of people that I just needed to cut her out of my life, but of course she's my mom. I believe that I loved her, and I do love her. I deep down do love her, and that's not what this video is about. I love her with everything that I have, but I don't like the abuse that I went through, and I shouldn't have been raised this way, and I shouldn't have went through the things that I did. And now a lot of you guys are questioning why I haven't talked to her, where she's been, because she used to be in the videos all the time. I have decided to cut her off. I did about a year ago, and I just kept falling into the things that she would continue to do to me. And this time I've stood my grounds, and I finally moved into a happy place, and I'm finally happy in my life. And no matter how much I miss her, which I miss her each and every day, and memories happen to pop up on my stuff, and it just makes me super sad. I know you're probably watching this, and I want you to know that I love you dearly, and I wish things would change, and you tell me all the time that things have changed, but things sadly have never changed. I thank you for the things that you did do for me, and that you worked very hard to do. I know you're a single mom for a while, but I wish things were different, but we can't change the past, and maybe one day everything will be okay. I know that you're super sick right now, and I know that I wish I could take that all away, but there's nothing really I can do, and it really sucks. But I wish you the best of luck, and I hope one day that we can rekindle our relationship. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it gives you some more clarification. Comment down below your questions, or if you have any questions or any comments, please be nice. This was a really hard video to make. Make sure you guys subscribe and hit that bell, and you don't want to miss anything.